CNN's Chris Cuomo desperately tries but fails to defend AOC's collapsing Capitol riot story. In this video, we're going to take a look at CNN's claim that they're absolutely committed to only reporting the facts, how Chris Cuomo alone single-handedly demolished that claim, and how citizen journalists are doing the investigating that CNN used to do and exposing AOC's collapsing Capitol riot yarn. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. We're here to give you everyday conservative hope in the midst of these turbulent times by analyzing current events and some super awesome conservative trends that can help you to think better so you can feel better. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We would love to have you as a regular part of this channel. Also, for all you Rumble fans, we're almost at 100,000 subs on our channel, so make sure to subscribe to our brand new Rumble channel by clicking on that link below. And for you podcast fans, we are now one of the top 20 podcasts in the nation for political commentary, so make sure to click on that link below and sign up for our various podcast platforms as well. Before we begin, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video who keeps our lights on here. And that, speaking of lights, is the backup solar bank. In the midst of this whole emergency situation we find ourselves in, one of the best things you can invest in for your protection when the lights go out is what's called a solar power bank. It's a backup power bank that's obviously powered by the sun. It allows you to charge up to 2 devices at once. You'll never have to waste any money on batteries again. Now, supply is limited, and this is your very last chance to get yours at a 20% discount before they sell out. So do not wait. Click on that link below right now. Give you and your family the gift of power anywhere in the world. Click on that link below or visit backupsolarbank.com. That's backupsolarbank.com. You'll be glad that you did. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Now, let me take you down memory lane here, if I may. Back on January 23rd of 2017, President Trump's White House counselor Kellyanne Conway coined a phrase that the left-wing activists disguised as journalists over at CNN took considerable issue with. And of course, that phrase was alternative facts. Do you remember that, right? CNN had a ball with the phrase. The mockery, the ridicule. In fact, if you go into the CNN building, and I have no idea why you would, but I did a couple of years back. I was speaking at a conference in Atlanta. And if you go into their really, frankly, cheesy building, you'll see a plaque. And on that plaque in the foyer, you'll read these words. Facts are facts. They aren't colored by emotion or bias. They are indisputable. There is no alternative to a fact. Facts explain things, what they are, how they happen. Facts are not interpretations. Once facts are established, opinions can be formed. And while opinions matter, they don't change the facts. That's why at CNN, we start with the facts first. Of course, my simple immediate observation upon reading that was, is any of that factual? And if so, how? How was one sentence there actually a fact? But in fact, the first more facts are facts, that's a tautology. A is true because A is true. It's a fallacy, not a fact. But regardless, as you can see, according to CNN, they're all about facts. They start with facts first. And then Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez comes along. And she tells what is appearing to be more and more the case. She tells what appears to be a yarn about the Capitol building riots and her involvement in that. And all of a sudden, CNN's love affair with facts, their absolute non-negotiable fidelity to facts for which there is no basis in reality to dispute, collapses, falls apart. Now, if you're not aware, I'm referring to Chris Cuomo's defense and Don Lemon, right? Chris and Don, their defense of AOC's account. Her harrowing account, as it's been widely described, her harrowing account of almost getting killed on January 6th when the Trump-supporting deplorables stormed the Capitol building. Now, I'm sure you all know by now that AOC she gave an emotional account of what she claimed she experienced on the day of the Capitol building riots, when she claimed that she thought she was going to die after hearing banging outside her office door. But we later found out it was a police officer banging on her door. Her life, as it turned out, was at no point in any danger. At no point were there any rioters or anything like that even near her office building. We now know that, right? Those are facts. Facts, mind you. They don't seem anymore to be the great guardians of the facticity over at CNN, however. Chris Cuomo, last night on the show, has just lost 50% of his audience, by the way. CNN's ratings are down 44%, and the hardest hit was Cuomo's show. So let's just say that last night he effectively contributed to the show's continued downward ratings spiral by actually trying to defend what, according to CNN's own creed, is the indefensible. There is no disputing facts, right? They're absolutely incontrovertible, and yet that is precisely what Fredo Cuomo was trying to do last night. Now listen to this. This is what he said. Listen, quote, "I don't understand how this is a story. How is she supposed to know who was on the other side of the door? How is she supposed to know how many people were on the other side of the door? Come on, how is she supposed to know, huh? This has nothing to do with anything AOC or whatever, but I kept trying to figure out how the people that were actually involved in that siege and all the chaos could be criticizing someone else who was involved in it." She was involved in it, right? And then he goes off in this whole story of when he was in Baghdad and he was getting blown up with his cameraman coming under fire, and how there was all this shooting and all these voices screaming all around him, and how he and the cameraman were hunkered down. They thought they were going to die, man. The enemy was going to take them over. They were going to die. And then Cuomo says, but we were wrong. The voices I heard were our troops communicating, killing the insurgents, calling in tank fire, and controlling the whole situation. But they couldn't talk to me because they were busy. And of course, Don Lemon says, it's just like that with AOC. It's the same. Boy, Chris, that's true. AOC, the combat veteran. I mean, it's just too funny. Can't even remotely take these guys seriously. But Chris, you are assuming the very point at issue. It's called begging the question. Was she involved? That's the issue that her critics are raising here. Stop begging the question. Again, it's another fallacy. My, CNN likes fallacies. Stop assuming the point at issue. The whole point at... Look, this goes way beyond simply AOC mistaking the police banging on her door for rioters. First and foremost, let's make sure we're clear here. AOC was not even in the Capitol building where all the action was going down on January 6th. That is indisputable at this point, okay? She admitted that she was in her office, which means that she was in the Cannon building, which is nearby, but it is a different building and quite removed from the Capitol building. And the reason why that's important is because you would not have known that from anything she said in her story, in her describing her harrowing experiences, you in the mainstream media like to refer to it. So for example, notice how she put it. This is the way she described her harrowing experience, okay? Wednesday, so that was January 6th, Capitol breach. Wednesday was an extremely traumatizing event. And it's not an exaggeration to say that many, many members of the House were nearly assassinated. It's just not an exaggeration to say that at all. Now, notice what she says. We were very lucky that things happened with certain minutes that allowed members to escape the House floor unharmed, but many of us narrowly escaped death. Did you catch it? We were very lucky that things happened that allowed members, that's we were very lucky that things happened that allowed members to escape. And we, the House members, were escaping from where? We, the House members, were escaping from the House floor, but many of us narrowly escaped death. Now, my question here is very simple. If you didn't know that AOC's office was not in the Capitol building, where the House floor is located, if you did not know that, would you have concluded that AOC was somewhere else other than the Capitol building when all of that was happening? Is that the conclusion you would have reached based on her harrowing tale? Of course not. And that's because her remarks linguistically identified herself with those who were in the building. It's called a linguistic identification. What was true of my colleagues was true of me. What happened to my colleagues in the Capitol building happened to me. But it gets even worse for Chris and Don. As it turns out, according to AOC's own timeline, her harrowing tale happened an hour before the riots even began. Now, before we get into that, I'm so excited to announce that we have a brand new alt-tech directory guide called the New Conservative Survival Guide to Big Tech Censorship. You can get that absolutely free as an ebook download simply by clicking on the link below. Now, this is a guide that's going to give you all of the alternative social media sites that you can go to that have all of your favorite independent content creators. But here's the key: without any of the censorship that we're all being subjected to by big tech. It's going to give you insights into what scholars are calling an emerging post-Google age. How does that sound? It's absolutely free as an ebook download. It's yours simply by clicking on the link below. So do not let big tech censors get in the way of your favorite content creators. Click on that link below and enjoy your survival guide to big tech censorship today. All right. We all owe a big thanks to the citizen journalist Tim Pool. He did a great job on this in one of his recent videos. He shows how AOC actually gave a timeline for when she heard banging at the office door. It was just after 1 p.m. It was just after 1 p.m. when she claimed that they, that's the way she was putting it, they were banging on her door, and she thought it was them trying to get inside. Okay, that's why she felt like her life was being threatened. So, of course, she's referring to the rioters, right? There's no disputing that. Now, it's not just that we now know that there were no rioters in her office building. That's a fact that CNN may not like, but hey, facts are facts. But it's not just that there were no rioters. It's the fact, and this is Tim Pool's genius here, it's the fact that AOC's timeline for when she heard the banging on her door, it was a full hour before anyone breached the Capitol building. They didn't breach the Capitol until 2 p.m. In other words, AOC is telling a harrowing tale of a riot that hadn't even begun. So how can you think it was rioters at your door when there were no rioters to begin with? So as Tim puts it, not only was AOC not in the Capitol building, not only were there no rioters anywhere near her office at any point, but the story she told happened more than an hour before there were riots, period. Before anyone breached the Capitol building. Which of course raises the question: how did AOC end up thinking that the person knocking at her door was a rioter when the Capitol building riot hadn't even begun as of yet? Those are good questions, don't you think, Chris? That might be worth a little investigating, wouldn't you say? I'm not going to hold my breath. You're not going to investigate that any more than you're going to investigate your brother and the misreporting of the actual amount of deaths that occurred among COVID positive patients in New York nursing homes. Just like the other 50% of the viewers who stop watching you, I'm not going to be watching you anytime soon either. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how the Bank of America has been caught secretly handing over customer data to the FBI. All as more and more conservatives are building parallel businesses and structures. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.